Hello and welcome to my kitchen at home and to another DIY Cupcake Jemma video. And today I'm going to make a really tasty cupcake. This is going to be a banana split cupcake. Now if you've ever been to our shop you'll know that we do these occasionally. But actually I am mixing it up a little bit and it's not going to be quite the same as it is in the shop. The shop one has banana caramel inside and I'll put a link to a recipe for that if you do want to use that. But this is going to be a kind of more straightforward banana split recipe, starting with the banana sponge, of course. So, I have in my freezer about 30, 40 black bananas. I'll show you what they look like. They're really, really disgusting. So, this is what they look like when they've been out of the freezer for a little while, and they are kind of minging. Even though they look really, really gross and black and slug-like, they make the tastiest banana flavour because they've had time for the sugars to, well, I don't know what happens to the sugars kind of do their thing in the case, the banana case. They make it super banana-y. Like when you use a really fresh underripe banana, you don't get that like punchy banana flavour that you do when you use a brown or a black one. So that is why I keep gross bananas in my freezer. So perfect excuse to bake some cakes. So I'm going to start with my butter. I've got 125 grams of butter, soft already. I'm going to whack that in the freezer. It's not a freezer, it's a mixer. I also have 140 grams of self-raising flour, which I've already sifted. I'm going to put that in along with 100 grams of caster sugar. And just to give it a bit more of a kind of deep caramelized flavour, I'm going to put 15 grams of dark soft brown sugar in there as well. And half a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda as well. Doink. Now comes the banana bit, so I'm going to get my gross slug bananas and a fork and just mash them all up until it's all kind of broken up and it's kind of sloppy liquid, sort of, like a mashy. I mean, you guys know what banana looks like mashed. I don't need to describe it to you. It already smells really banana-y. It smells like banana milkshake. And once you're satisfied, whack that in with the rest of the ingredients. And then crack in 2 large free-range eggs. And get that going on a low speed to start with, and then increase the speed to medium, and then just beat that for about a minute. Once it's had a couple of minutes mixing with all of that stuff in it, you then need to put just a tablespoon of milk. And if you want to put vanilla extract in at this point, you can. I find that it kind of detracts from the banana flavour, and if you're not using very white bananas, unlike me, then you might find it's completely apparent. So once you put the milk in, whack the speed up again to medium and beat it for another 30 seconds. And that is ready, so paddle off. With all my batter lovely and combined, I'm going to now just pop it into my cupcake cases. I've already got my tin lined as per usual with 12 cupcake cases, and I'm just going to distribute that evenly among all 12 holes. And with all my batter in, I'm just now going to bake these at 170 degrees C for 20 to 22 minutes. Now my cakes are out of the oven and they're cooling down, and meanwhile I'm going to get on with making some buttercream. And I'm actually going to use Swiss meringue buttercream for this, just because it goes so lovely and pale and silky, and I think it'll look really nice, because obviously with banana split, like the real thing, you'd get whipped cream on it. So I want to make it look kind of like whipped cream, I guess. And also it's just a really tasty recipe, and I like making it as well because quite often I run out of icing sugar in the house, but I've always got sugar and eggs and butter, always, because I'm a baker. But icing sugar is one of those things I'm like, oh god, I've run out. So it's really good to kind of fall upon my Swiss meringue buttercream recipe in those times, and that is what I'm doing today. Not that I have run out, obviously, I'm a complete professional. But I am going to make my Swiss meringue buttercream, and to start with I've got a heat-proof bowl here, and that's got my sugar in it, and I'm also going to add the whites of 2 large free-range eggs. And what I'm going to do with those is put them onto a bain-marie, which is a pan of simmering water, and then using my whisk, I'm just going to stir it until all the grains have dissolved. Now that all my sugar has dissolved, I'm going to just transfer it into my big stand mixer, and I've got the balloon whisk attachment on it. I also made sure that I cleaned all of this equipment, anything that was going to have egg white in it. I cleaned it all with vinegar just beforehand so that to make sure it beats up nice and white. So now I'm going to whisk this on a high speed for about 10 or 15 minutes until the bowl is completely cool, and it should have whipped up quite considerably by that point. Right, my egg whites are lovely and fluffy and stiff. So now it's time to add the butter, and I have 200 grams of super duper soft butter. This butter needs to be very, very soft. You don't want your egg whites to work too hard to incorporate it, so it needs to be really squishy. So make sure you leave it somewhere warm in advance. Room temperature is different for everyone, depending on what your room's like. So just make sure it's like totally spreadable. Like you can imagine spreading it on the most delicate bread and not having any trouble at all. So I've got 200 grams. I'm going to add this a little piece at a time while the mix is still going. All my butter's in and it has gone really silky. Now, what I didn't show you, because I didn't have the camera on at this point, is that actually my bowl had a little bit of residual heat which I hadn't felt, and so what happened was my butter and my buttercream just started getting really loose, and this happens from time to time. A lot of people asked me about this on the comments box in my Swiss meringue buttercream video, and basically you can do one of two things. You can either put your bowl in the fridge to cool down, obviously, but actually what quite often works, unless you're really in a hot climate, is just to whack the speed up to absolute max, and for some reason it just kind of comes together after a couple of minutes. So don't despair. If you put all your butter in and it's gone really super sloppy, just whack the speed up, have patience, or put your bowl in the fridge for just a few minutes, bring it back, whip it up, and it should come around very quickly. My buttercream is ready. I'm just going to flavour it with a bit of vanilla extract. I'm only going to put in 1/4 teaspoon, and then I'm going to give that a good mix, and then it'll be ready. And that's that. So I'm going to clear the decks, put this into a piping bag, ready to decorate my cakes. They're still a tiny bit warm, so I've got a few things I can get on with, and then I'll be back to decorate. So it is time, guys. I'm gonna build these banana split cupcakes, and they're gonna kind of resemble banana split, sort of. Let's see how we go. So I've got my lovely sponges, I've got my Swiss meringue buttercream in a piping bag, and I've got a closed star nozzle in there because I want this to be really, really ripply and whippy, and have lots of nice ledges for other things to sit on, because I've got some melted chocolate and some colourful sprinkles, and then the pièce de résistance, which is the classic cocktail cherry. Now these things are fluorescent pink for some reason. Not quite sure how that happens in nature, but we'll get over it. And they are, while they're kind of a little bit dubious in terms of the naturalness of them, they are really tasty, and they're really classic on a sort of 80s banana split. So I'm just gonna put my buttercream on, give it a drizzle, give it a sprinkle, top it with a cherry. And there they are, delicious little banana split, almost forgot what they were called, banana split cupcakes. Banana sponge with vanilla Swiss meringue buttercream, a drizzle of chocolate, and a very chintzy cocktail cherry on the top. And these look so, so sweet. Now, if you want to fill them with banana caramel like we do in the shop, then you can click on the link down below. I'll put the link to the recipe for my banana caramel down there. And Or you could fill it with whipped cream, that's also good. There's lots of things you can do with this. You could even ripple strawberry jam through it. You know, some banana splits have strawberry ice cream in them, so there's lots and lots of things you can do, but obviously these are my version today based on what I had in my cupboards, frankly, and I hope you enjoyed this recipe and I hope you give it a go. Please give it a thumbs up and comment below if you've made it, and please hashtag Cupcake Jemma if you take a picture of your work on Instagram so that I can check it out. And if you haven't checked out my merch yet, please go and do that and get yourself something like these awesome oven mitts, which I use all the time now. I've got a stain on it, but just ignore that for a minute. I think it's coffee. We'll just pretend it's not there. But you can get your hands on lots of things over on cupcakejemma.com. And I'll be back next week with another recipe. So in the meantime, enjoy your banana split cupcakes. See ya. Mega banana-y.